The conference room was silent, too silent for a room full of people. Every seat was filled, the air buzzed with unspoken pressure, every darted, fingers fidgeted, but no one dared speak out of turn. This wasn't just any meeting, it was the meeting, the kind where one mistake could mean more than just losing a deal. At the head of the table sat Jeon Jungkook, calm, calculated, and terrifying. His presence alone was suffocating. His black suit was pristine, his expression unreadable. His fingers drummed rhythmically on the polished wood table. In front of him, a young man trembled. Sweat trickled down his forehead, his hands shaky as he flipped through presentation slides. Then suddenly panic hit his face. He reached into his bag, into his pocket, back into his bag again. Something was missing, the pen drive. He started searching frantically, shifting in place, awkwardly glancing at boss over and over again. Others around the table noticed. A few raised brows, one cleared his throat. Everyone had the same thought. Why hasn't Jungkook reacted yet? Finally, the presenter could not take it anymore. Sir, I can't find the pen drive. He stammered. Jungkook didn't flinch. Instead, he smiled, a cold, unsettling smile. Jungkook, no need to keep searching, he said smoothly. Everyone tensed. Before the words could even settle in the air, Jungkook stood up, pulled a gun from his coat, and bang. The bullet went straight through the man's forehead. He dropped instantly. Blood painted the white skin behind him. Gasps and screams echoed, but no one dared move. Jimin, Jungkook, he stood up, eyes wide. You killed him just like that. Jungkook didn't even look back. Jungkook, I hate delays, he said flatly, and he was irresponsible. He turned on his heel and walked out without another word. Behind him, Josh, his silent left-hand man, followed. There was a bit of silence before V stepped forward, his voice calm. V apologized for Jungkook's behavior. He is got a temper. The dealers on the other end nodded slowly, trying to make sense of what just happened. Mr. Min finally broke the silence. Mr. Mim, don't worry. We understand exactly what kind of man he is. Jimin took a deep breath and forced the discussion forward. Jimin, the weapons we discussed, we are ready to take them. We will handle the imports within the next few days. Mr. Min nodded. Mr. Min, and we will take your custom bullets. The designs were impressive. Jimin gave a tight smile. Jimin, deal. They shook hands and Mr. Min exited the room with his man. V leaned in toward Jimin and whispered, V, at least the meeting didn't fall apart. I thought Jungkook's temper would ruin it all over again. Jimin exhaled deeply. Jimin, you don't even know what the last one cost us. The two men exited the blood-stained room like nothing had happened, because in their world, blood was the part of business. No one expected Jungkook to show up today, and yet there he was, walking into the office with rage radiating from his very presence. His face was stone, his eyes sharp like a loaded gun. The air around him felt charged, suffocating. The moment he stepped through the door, silence fell. Staff lowered their heads, fingers flew across keyboards, eyes locked on screens. Not a single soul dared to breathe too loudly. Everyone has assumed their boss would be absent today. They were wrong. Jungkook didn't say a word. He stormed straight toward his private office, Josh trailing behind him like a shadow. Once inside, he threw himself into his chair, jaw clenched, his teeth gritting in quiet fury. Josh stood nearby but stayed silent. He had seen this version of Jungkook before too often. He knew when not to poke the fire. Moments later, Jimin and they entered the room cautiously. Jimin, Jungkook, calm down, he said, shutting the door behind him. You can't keep letting anger lead. We need to think clearly. We have to be strategic. Emotions don't win wars. Planning does. Jungkook looked at them both, with expression darkening further. Jungkook, I am already burning inside, he snapped. And now you two want to give me lectures too. His fist clenched on the table. Jungkook, I have enough chaos in my head. Don't pile onto it. Suddenly his phone buzzed again. The screen lit up. Another missed call, then another and another. It had been ringing all day. They narrowed his eyes. They, who is calling you like this? Maybe just answer it. Jungkook, I don't need to, he said coldly. When they should have checked in, they didn't. And now suddenly they care. His voice cut like ice. Jimin and they exchanged a glance. They already knew who it was. Jimin, it's him, isn't it? Jimin asked quietly. Jungkook didn't answer. He didn't need to. Jimin, you could at least listen to what he wants, he said carefully. Jungkook, I don't want to hear his excuses, he growled. He is always finding a way to stop me, block me, delay me. Jungkook, I'm going to be the next Mafia king, he continued, voice low and dangerous. I don't care what I have to do. I will take the seat, and I won't let anyone, even him, get in my way. Maybe your father thinks you are not ready yet. Maybe he is just trying not to overwhelm you. Jungkook scoffed, raising slowly to his feet. Jungkook, no, he said. He doesn't want me to succeed. That's the truth. Jimin's face tightened. Jimin, none of us saw this change coming. He wasn't always like this. At those words, Jungkook's rage boiled again. He clenched his fist so tight the veins in his arms blacked. He didn't speak, but his silence was more terrifying than his shouting. Night fell. Jimin and they had already left. The office was empty, silent, dark. Jungkook finally stepped out with Josh behind him. The two men walking out into the cold night, not a businessman, but as soldiers preparing for war, a war that had started long ago within bloodlines and silence. The night air was heavier than usual. Jungkook stood silently in front of the gates of his family mansion, the place where he was born, where he had once laughed, played, and grown. Now it felt like a cold monument of betrayal. The guards at the gate lowered their heads respectfully as he passed. No one spoke, no one dared to. The house was too quiet, unnaturally still. Something about the atmosphere twisted in his gut. Something felt off. He insists, whispered danger, deceit to or both. As he stepped into the grand hall, his eyes landed on a figure seated in the lounge, and everything inside him froze. There, in a crisp designer suite, smiling like nothing had ever gone wrong, sat Mr. Jeon, his father. The same man who once held his hand to teach him how to walk, the same man who now stood between him and everything he was meant to become. Jeon rose, his expression warm, fake, the kind of practiced smile only powerful men wore. Mr. Jeon, my son, Jeon said cheerfully, walking up to Jungkook and wrapping his arms around him. Mr. Jeon, I miss you so much. I called you so many times, but you never answered, he added with a light, almost boyish laugh. Jungkook's body tensed. He didn't return the hug. He didn't blink. His voice came low, cold, controlled. Jungkook, cut the formalities. Just tell me why you are here. Jeon stepped back, slightly amused. Mr. Jeon, is that how you greet your father? Jungkook, if you have something to say, he said darker now. Say it, otherwise leave. Jeon tilted his head. Mr. Jeon, you know I raised you, taught you to walk, and now you talk to me like I'm a stranger. Jungkook, you have been one for years, he replied sharply, turning toward the staircase, but he had only taken a step when Jeon dropped the bomb. Mr. Jeon, oh, by the way, my engagement is tomorrow. Jungkook stopped dead in his tracks. Mr. Jeon, I am getting married. Jeon continued with a wide grin. You will meet your new mother. I hope you will come. It's the happiest moment in my life. Take care, my son. He spoke those words so smoothly, so cheerfully, it made Jungkook's blood boil. But Jungkook didn't turn back. He didn't speak. He climbed the stairs with his feet clenched, his teeth glinting, and his heart breaking silently. His eyes had turned red. He could feel the sting in his throat, but he would not cry. He refused to. Behind him, Jeon chuckled softly and walked out of the mansion like nothing had happened. Jungkook stepped into his room, locked the door behind him, and went straight to the bathroom. Cold water splashed against his face, but it could not cool the heat inside his chest. He was thinking something. He changed, laid on his bed, and closed his eyes, but sleep didn't come easy. His mind wandered to his childhood, to his mother, the warmth of a family that once existed, to how everything crumbled when his mother died. That's when his father changed. No, became someone else entirely. Jungkook pinned away the tears, but a few escaped, sliding down silently, just like the memories he could never erase. Should he go tomorrow? He didn't know. All he knew was he was angry and hurt and more alone than ever. Somewhere in that silence, he finally drifted into an uneasy sleep with war brewing in his blood. Jungkook woke up before dawn. The sky outside was still heavy with early morning fog, as if it too didn't want to face the day. He sat up slowly, ran a hand through his hair, and exhaled. His chest was tight, his throat dry. He didn't bother with breakfast. He didn't even glance toward the kitchen. All he needed was movement, distance, silence. By the time he reached the office, the place was already alive with activity. Employees were at their desks, heads down, eyes locked on their screens. When Jungkook entered, a subtle wave of tension moved through the buildings. Bags straightened, conversation halted. But he said nothing. He walked past them all and went straight into his office. The staff exchanged glances, surprised. There was no outburst, no threats, no deadly glances. Something was different, and yet no one dared speak about it. Jungkook sat in his chair, rubbing his temple. His mind was still spinning from last night. A soft knock, then Josh entered. Josh, boss, he began, voice low. We managed to catch one of Edwin's men. He is being held now. We believe he is connected to the leaks. Jungkook's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of satisfaction like a storm cloud breaking. Jungkook, good, he muttered. Get every word out of him, whatever it takes, and if he doesn't talk, his voice darkened. Then there is no point keeping him alive. Josh nodded. Josh understood. Just then, Jimin stepped inside. He looked around quickly, noticing the calm. It was unsettling. Jimin, they could not make it today, Jimin said, taking a seat. He had work outside. Josh quietly exited the room, leaving the two alone. For a moment, only the sound of shuffling papers filled the air. Jimin flipped through a file, eyes scanning numbers, until Jungkook's voice broke the silence. Jungkook, my father came home yesterday, he said abruptly. Jimmy's hand froze. The file slipped from his fingers and fell to the floor with a soft thud. Jimmy, what? He asked, blinking. Why? Jungkook leaned back in his chair. Jungkook to invite me. Jimmy, to what? Jungkook looked away, jaw-tied. Jungkook, his engagement. Jimmy's split cocked. He stared at Jungkook, completely stunned. Jimin, engagement? Are you serious? Jungkook didn't respond. He didn't need to. Jimin, I don't understand. Jimin muttered, still reeling. He loved your mother. I saw it. We all did. How could he? Jungkook, he is changed, he said sharply. Or maybe he always had this version of himself locked away, and now he doesn't care to hide it anymore. Jimin ran a hand through his hair, unable to process the shift. Jimin, are you going? Jungkook, I don't know, he finally said. Maybe this is something I was meant to say. He paused, lost in thought for a long moment, then added quietly, Jungkook, no, I have to go. Jimin nodded slowly, cautious. Jimin, if you are going, then just keep your head cool. Jungkook's eyes narrowed. Jungkook, that I can't promise. The room fell silent again. Two friends, one burden, and a night ahead that could change everything. Jungkook was dressed in all black, his sharp suit perfectly pressed, no emotion, no hesitation, just cold elegance. He sat inside his car as it glided silently through the city. The windows were tinted, hiding the storm brewing in his eyes. He didn't know what was waiting at the end of this road, and he hated not knowing. The car pulled into the circular driveway of a grand estate, lavishly decorated and crawling with guards, servers, and men in expensive watches. It was the kind of place where everything glittered except truth. As he stepped out, the weight of 1,000 unseen eyes fell on him. He didn't care. Inside, the hall was flooded with golden lights, white roses, and silent tension. Jungkook's sharp gaze scanned the space, filled mostly with high-ranking businessmen, mafia associates, and people who smiled too easily. That's when he saw Mr. Kim, one of his trusted allies in the arms syndicate, Mr. Kim Jungkook. Kim grinned, pulling him into a brief hug. Jungkook didn't react. He wasn't surprised to see Kim here. After all, this wasn't just an engagement party, it was a performance of power. They exchanged pleasantries, but Jungkook's attention was elsewhere. Something about this event felt off. The space was too dressed up, too empty. Where was the bride? Where were the families? His instincts twisted inside him again. This wasn't right. He stood silently, jaw-tied, until suddenly the speakers came to life. A woman's voice echoed across the hall. "Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you have all been waiting for. Please welcome tonight's couple." Polite applause broke out. A few chairs, faces turned toward the staircase. Jungkook didn't clap. He didn't move. Then he saw them. Mr. Jeon, his father, descending with a woman barely in her 20s, clinging to his arm. She was dressed in bold blood-red gown, her skin pale as porcelain, her steps careful, almost doll-like. Her face was beautiful, disturbingly so perfect in a way that didn't seem real. Jungkook's eyes narrowed. She was younger than him, much younger. She looked like a painting meant to be stared at, not touched, a trophy, a possession, a display. He gripped the glass in his hand so tightly it nearly shattered. His entire body stiffened with disgust. A gold digger, a child bride for a man twice her age. Of course, why am I even surprised? Mr. John stepped forward, beaming, and took the mic. "Mr. John, I never thought love would find me again," he announced proudly. "But here she is, the one who is brought light back into my life. Wyan, will you accept me as your husband?" Everyone clapped, cheered, but Vine said nothing. She just stood there, eyes blank, lips sealed, no smile, no glow, just silence. And then slowly she nodded, a single nod, nothing more. Mr. Joe slipped a ring onto her finger, kissed her hand. She returned the favor mechanically, as if it was choreographed, as if it wasn't even her. Jacob watched from a distance, expressionless, livid. He turned without a word and walked straight to the bar. Drink after drink, the alcohol burned, but it wasn't enough. His chest felt like it would split open. Every laugh, every smile, every false cheer in that room made his skin crawl. The party that celebrated the destruction of everything that once meant family to him. After a while, his vision blurred, his body swayed. He got up, ready to leave, but his steps were unsteady. He stumbled through the court like a ghost until collision. Someone bumped into him. He curled, about to explode, his blood too hot to hold back. But as the blood sharpened, he froze. It was her, the girl in red, his new stepmother, Vyan. They stood face to face, inches apart. Her lips were still, her eyes unmoving. Jungkook's jaw tightened. "Jungkook, what? One man's not enough for you," he hissed, already trying to seduce his son, too. She didn't react, didn't flinch, didn't blink. The silence only enraged him more. Jungkook, typical. Girls like you only care about money. You manipulated him. What, trying to luck with me now? That's what you do, right? Trap man, feed on their power. Still, she said nothing, not a word. Just watched him with those calm, hollow eyes, like he wasn't real, like the entire moment was just part of some surreal painting. Jungkook's breath trembled. Her silence was deafening, and for some reason it shook him more than anything. Disgusted, he turned and walked away without another word, leaving shuttered breath and bloodshot eyes behind. Maya stood alone in the hallway, still surrounded by lights and laughter she could not feel, a ghost in her own fairy tale.